guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the 23rd of January, 2020. We've been wanting to go live all week because so much has happened. We had the Second Amendment rally in Virginia on Monday, which turned out to be, I don't want to say a nothing. It was everything. It was everything it was supposed to be. They were able to accomplish a mass movement, and they got the world's attention because everybody was expecting a false flag. Yeah. They wouldn't call it a false flag. They would think it's something very real, some sort of disruption. And I think that Antifa called off the hit. Yeah. And this is what happens when Antifa doesn't show up. Now, interestingly enough, I was sent a link, and I'm going to pull this up really quickly since I didn't think we would lead with this story, but then I just got to talking about it, and Leah doesn't even know about this. From Sooks, he's one of our moderators, and he sent me this. This is how the resistance is getting, that's what they call themselves, getting the word out, and I think that this might have been one of their ways to say, you know what, we're not going to do... The bot works. It's a computer. It's an algorithm. Like this one says, I'm going to help you contact your officials. What would you like to tell them? And then the proposed thing is Congress needs to pass the Keep Families Together Act so children are not separated from their parents at the border. You can donate. You can get text messages. You can go over here to this guide to how to pressure your elected officials. It talks about voting, volunteering, and on the surface, it does seem innocent. It
reminds me of Obama's Organizing for Action.
But the fact that they can get text messages and use this bot. Now, when you're working with a bot, it's a little bit different than even text messages because I don't think that there is like a trail there. You know, it can be something that's totally anonymous.
So the Virginia rally, Antifa was going to show up, trying to make some trouble. It was actually the most peaceful.
It was so great.
Rally, you know, in recent times, and to top it all off, they cleaned up after themselves.
I know, they stayed around.
Hopefully tomorrow.
The pussy hat wearing women did not.
Yeah, so I think tomorrow we'll cover the pussy march.
Are we going to?
Yeah, tomorrow.
You don't want to talk more about the Walk for Life?
We'll probably cover the Walk for Life and
Trump's going to be
march. Trump's going to be there, and we're going to. I have some videos I want to bring up for you about the Virginia march. The Virginia gun march, because it was pretty cool, and there's a lot of good little videos out there, but I wasn't able to show them to you. So we're gonna come to you tomorrow with that. But interestingly enough, the majority of Virginia homicides come from only 2 metro areas, and then the rest of the places that these wonderful. Blue-blooded, conservative-leaning gun owners who are painted as mass murderers are the ones not actually doing the killings.
Surprise! And
it's actually the murders in the 2 metro areas that want to take...
of wanting harsher or more strict gun regulations are those that live in inner cities where they see this happening and they don't understand that... These gun laws aren't going to solve that problem. Yeah.
And the homicide rate in Virginia is even under the national rate, and it's just crazy. So, alrighty there. So, I don't know if you guys have heard about this, and I guess I'm kind of obsessed with this for a second. So
You're laughing.
I wanted to do, because of where it's coming from, there's a virus out. The
coronavirus.
The coronavirus. It's originating in China, but where it has originated from is what is scratching heads and what is turning stomachs. I have some video here of on Twitter. Look, I have this. We're gonna do our Schiff show. Somebody did that one. Isn't that funny? That's hilarious. Where.
Oh, there it is again. Unbelievable.
So, this coronavirus in China, officials are saying that it's most likely coming from an animal. And Kansas, I don't know if you've seen this. You can see this video I have playing up here if you want to see it. A cooked bat in soup. They didn't even skin it. They didn't take its head off. He's fighting till the last breath.
Well, let me tell you something, though.
So disgusting.
Most people have a very few words for the word poo. Feces, dung, but it's not specific to specific animals, right?
Yeah.
But bat
guano
is poo, and it's called bat guano. It actually has a name, and I think that the reason why it has its own name is because it is so dangerous. It can make you sick. So if you get bats in your house, and we're learning this from a friend of ours who has bats in her house, and up in her like attic space, and she can't even go in and clean it up. Just breathing it in, like it needs to stay sealed off until she's gonna have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to have it removed. And that's how dangerous it is. So I'm thinking to myself, y'all didn't skin this bat. So there could be, even if it was a tiny little particle of bat guano in the bat, on the bat, whatever bat. I mean, you texted our friends and you said that they're finding that these viruses are probably coming from mutations that are happening in humans.
Happening in the animals, actually.
Happening in the animals.
Passing on to humans.
From them eating things that they shouldn't be eating.
You ain't supposed to eat that, child. Put the bat down.
Put the bat down.
Put the bat down.
Put it down. Do not consume the bat.
Don't touch it. And I said this in Ohio. We just found out it's illegal to kill bats in Ohio.
Okay. Sorry, I gotta.
No, she's got to get that. It's illegal to kill bats in the state of Ohio. And we have a friend of ours who has a maternity colony of bats in her attic right now. And she had a bat professional come out, Batman himself. And he told her that it's illegal for him to kill them. And the best he can do is you have to wait till they hatch out. And then he can do something, but he can't kill them. All he can do is seal up every single part of her attic and create a one-way door so they can only go out, they can't come back in. And so if maybe they had that law there in Ohio, or the Ohio law, look at that. Lord, have mercy on my soul. And Lord, have mercy on your souls. I told Mama she might not want to watch this part. This coronavirus has killed, I think the number's up to actually 35 right now. 25. As Beijing confirms 830 patients have been infected. There are videos online with, they've got a quarantine, okay, in I think 3 cities now. Millions of people cannot leave their city. People are ordered to wear masks, and planes are literally dropping, bleach from the sky? Something. It's supposed to be cleaning, I don't know. It's a pretty big deal. Okay, we're up to 8 cities. 8 Chinese cities. More than 23 million people are effectively under quarantine. Multiple cases all around the world, from Scotland to Singapore and the USA. 830 affected in mainland China, according to Chinese officials. You've got a couple in Vietnam, Thailand, Singapore, Japan, South Korea, and 1 in the United States. 25 people are dead. The WHO says it's not the time to declare a global emergency yet. A patient in Texas recently traveled to Wuhan. That's where it's supposedly originated. The WHO estimates the coronavirus is about as contagious as the Spanish flu, more than twice as infectious as the common flu. In Wuhan, people are collapsing in the streets due to the deadly Wuhan pneumonia. That's what they're calling it. They're just literally collapsing. Look at this. I'm sorry. It is a graphic. Just get your kids out. Just get your kids out of the room. This poor fella, he just collapsed. They're wrapping bodies up in plastic. They're trying to be real careful about what's going on. As Friday begins in Beijing, Chinese state media has announced that the number of confirmed coronavirus cases in mainland China has climbed to 830, while the number of deaths has climbed to 25. Meanwhile, more disturbing videos out of Wuhan are circulating online as reports about the growing number of sick healthcare workers circulate in the Hong Kong
So it's worth
press.
saying, though, that this, because when we talk about viruses, you go to the worst case scenario of everyone dies. This is not a everyone dies virus. No. Okay. It's just really, really awful that they all have it.
Look how serious they're taking this. Like, they've got their healthcare workers from head to toe.
It's legit. It's legit.
I mean,
but
this
it's
is
not
a legit thing.
It's not that, what was that movie that came out in the 90s that we used to watch?
Man.
Dustin Hoffman.
Was it Dustin Hoffman?
And it was just so terrifying because you thought to yourself,
the virus or something?
I don't know. We're going to catch this virus, and
Japan's health ministry confirmed a second case of coronavirus on Friday. The infected man who lives in Wuhan, China, traveled to Japan on Sunday. They're checking people's temperatures. They're coming off the planes, going on the planes, but there's a 5-day incubation period. So before you show symptoms. Has been hospitalized in Tokyo. Details are limited at the moment. There was no mention of how many people the infected man came in contact with before being quarantined. News reports out of the UK are claiming that 14 people are now being tested for the virus after earlier reports that 3 people in Scotland were under quarantine as suspected carriers of the virus. Meanwhile, the number of cities in Hubei province facing a travel ban, lockdown, quarantine has been expanded to 8. Wuhan, Hungang, Izhou, Chibi, Jitao, Xinjiang, and Quanjing. There's just 8. The SCMP has also released some more details about the first death outside of Hubei. An 80-year-old man died in the town of Hubei after spending 2 months in Wuhan visiting relatives. Back in Wuhan, ride-sharing company Didi has suspended its service as China's finance ministry announced that 1 billion won, $144 million, will be used by Hubei authorities to halt the spread of the illness. Also, in the latest sign that the regime in Beijing hasn't kept its promise to complete transparency, the SACMP reports that healthcare workers in Wuhan are getting sick at a rate that is faster than previously revealed. Initially, Chinese authorities insisted that healthcare workers weren't being sickened, indicating that the virus didn't spread via human-to-human contact, but we've since learned that this was a lie. That's the most important point here. 15 cases of the coronavirus have been officially reported among healthcare workers in the city, although doctors say the real number is much higher. Just as expected, the situation in Wuhan has gotten so out of hand that videos of healthcare workers collapsing from exhaustion are circulating online.
The big danger here is that we're coming on the Chinese New Year.
Exactly.
And so I don't have this up. I'm going to see if I can just bring this from my phone so I don't have to send myself a text
This is
message.
a healthcare worker just collapsing.
Okay, so the top, there we go. So the top one, that's by the millions. I'm going wrong here. That's how many people travel for different holidays.
Yeah.
So the U.S. holiday season is 3 times less, however you want to do that math, than what's going to be happening. These people are going to be traveling for the Chinese New Year, I think this Saturday. Is that right? And that, it just makes it so dangerous.
If it seems like every person who managed to escape Wuhan is carrying the virus, here's one possible explanation. The WHO estimated that the coronavirus has a measure of how contagious a virus is, of 2, equivalent to the Spanish flu that sickened 500 million people during the first half of the 20th century. The common flu, by comparison, has an RO of 0.9. The markets recovered on Thursday after the WHO declined to label the coronavirus as a global pandemic. But like Michelle said, we won't know because people are defying the travel ban. I think it was Thursday was the last day that you could travel out of Wuhan, which means people who didn't have symptoms are carrying this virus and have left this area and will be transmitting it. That is a fact. Let's see. We've got the shock and awe approach. Let's see. Now that Beijing's shock and awe approach to containing the viral panic appears to have convinced health officials that the virus won't make it to the next generation of transmission, it's worth remembering that Beijing's attempt to quarantine more than 20 million people was hardly comprehensive. For example, look at this Vice story, which claims one woman evaded airport checks by taking medication that lowered a fever. According to Vice, the Chinese embassy in Paris is hoping to speak with her after she visited the Michelin starred restaurant and shared the whole experience on WeChat. The warning came after one woman from Wuhan took medicine to bring down her temperature to avoid detection as she boarded a flight to France, where she dined at a Michelin-starred restaurant. The woman was heavily criticized for her actions after she posted photos and details of her trip on WeChat. On Wednesday night, the Chinese embassy in France responded with a warning and asked the woman to contact their emergency phone number. She going prison. China don't take lightly to this kind of stuff. So this is the area of the coronavirus lockdown. You can kind of see. I don't know. Yeah, you can see behind me. Wuhan is here, 11 million people, and then these different people are all these major cities are all on lockdown. So you can kind of look at see what
23 million people under lockdown.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That is a lot of people.
So let's see. Actually, I'm going to go over here to the New Zealand Herald here. The food market. Now, Alex Jones, Picture Gallery, was telling me that Alex Jones had an emergency transmission, and she wants to put the link to that in the chat. I'll bring that up. I did not have a chance to watch that. On the fact that, and I just read the headline that there was a major push for certain vaccines going earlier. And it's highly possible that they could be blaming it on food, which would take the blame off of anybody spreading something. I don't trust vaccines.
Right.
I would not trust a Chinese vaccine.
Oh my gosh, no way.
If you're telling me that's going to save my life. Because I know what happens in China. I know that things are not sterilized. I know that people don't take because the communist regime basically they don't really have morals, wrong and right inside of their head. They just do what the Chinese Communist Party tells them to do. They don't do it because it's right or wrong. They cut corners, and it's highly possible that something got contaminated and all it needs is to get into the initial serum that gets replicated and re-replicated and re-replicated, or it just gets into one batch and it spreads from one person to another person to another person. Pedro Galli was saying something about a bronchitis vaccine actually spreading bronchitis, which is where mom thinks that I had. That's what I had last week.
You had the coronavirus.
Yeah, that's nice. It was actually more of a pneumonia. The coronavirus is more pneumonia, so I did not have those symptoms, praise God. I had a horrible cough. But anyways, the food market at center of deadly coronavirus outbreak amidst selling live koalas, snakes, rats, and minnows for food. 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 You put
now, is this it, Leah?
No. Not the internet.
You said it was an emergency.
Yeah, but not the internet kill switch or whatever. It was about the It was about the coronavirus and everything. So, let's see.
Oh, there it is. This one. Excuse me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Coronavirus vaccines patented as outbreaks appear globally. Now, I had heard that as well, that the vaccine is already patented. So how is it already patented once now that the I mean, we can pull that up really quickly and just see if there's anything worth here.
You can bring that up. Let me finish this article here.
Oh, well, okay, but it's already
just pause it then. The Chinese food market at the center of the deadly SARS-like virus outbreak has claimed they sold live koalas, snakes, rats, and wolf pups to locals to eat. The Wuhan seafood market in Wuhan in China is under investigation, with officials believing the coronavirus originated from a wild animal that was sold at this venue. So far, the highly contagious virus has killed, 25 people, and about 830 have been infected so far. People probably with colds and stuff are not admitting it, so that number is probably way higher. According to South China Morning Post, the market's advertising board had live foxes, crocodiles, wolf puppies, salamanders, snakes, rats, peacocks, porcupines, and koalas.
I think it's satanic. Like, honestly, I think that this is what happens.
Of course it is.
You know, when you do things that goes against nature and nature's God. I think that's just... There are reasons why God tells you not to eat certain things.
There is literally nothing that Chinese people won't eat. The sale of live animals has shocked a number of locals, with some taking to Chinese social media site Weibo to show their surprise. Just took a closer look at the viral wild animal menu. They even eat koalas.
Now, here's the thing. Let's think about this for a second, because you and I, we take it very seriously when we have to butcher our animals. It's a really big deal for us. We pray over them. I understand not everybody takes it that seriously, but at the same time, every time you take the life of an animal in order to eat it, it's a big deal.
Sure.
And there are animals like dogs, or whether it's a koala, where they are, you can just tell that it goes against the animal human trust factor thing, that you just don't do that. So for a Chinese person, they have to be so void of light and life in order to take that animal home and kill it. To me, it's like it's like an animal sacrifice.
I'm not showing you the one with the guy eating live little mice. Live. He dips them in sauce.
That's disgusting. It's animalistic. It is satanic. It just goes to show when you ban God from an entire continent, practically. At least
you
the entire
just know
country.
in your spirit what's right and wrong. Like you know.
Well, okay, and this actually goes with something that I've been wanting to continue to bring up on the show. For people that think that Jesus is still going to come back, obviously there will be a second coming, but there are some people that believe that Jesus, the first time when he died on the cross, wasn't like an official coming, and he's going to come again. And anyway, they just don't understand what the earth was like prior to Jesus coming. If you've never read the Bible, or you don't really know the Bible very well, the prophecies about what will happen in the world and in the earth after Jesus comes, it talks about light and life will come. And the Bible says that once the gospel has been preached unto the whole world, then the end will come. Well, once Jesus died on the cross, it was like a reverberation was sent, and light
people
was
began
spread, and
to
people began to not
so
be
animalistic.
savage.
Yeah. The more the gospel spreads, the more people become civilized.
Yeah.
Okay? You see where the gospel isn't present, and you see people being thrown off of buildings.
Right.
You see people still being having their heads chopped off.
Exactly.
In Saudi Arabia.
Exactly.
And you see, like, in even where Christianity was supposedly prevalent, but the gospel itself was not preached. And you got something right here under this left eye. There you go. That they were burning people at the stake and stuff like that. But that's not the gospel's not there. The coronavirus represents a wide the coronavirus represents a wide variety of viruses present in animals that can, in certain circumstances, jump to humans. That is why we are focusing on the animal aspect, because it's a wide variety of viruses. This represents, it's from animals. Like, it literally
they're viruses that they have.
Yeah.
That don't normally cross to humans, like the bird flu or something.
Exactly.
You know, a lot of times you can't get sick. If your animal has a virus, you're not going to catch it.
Well, here's the thing, guys. There's a reason why they tell you to cook pork all the way. Right? There's a reason why they tell you not to eat raw meat. If these people are eating raw meat, you're not going to cook those viruses up or out. Okay? Even if it's sick. Yeah, I know. More than 500...
But now what's happening is they're getting in humans and they're spreading human to human. They're actually...
What
is so bad about this is it's airborne. They are now spraying the atmosphere. They're doing flyby sprayovers to spray the air.
The reason they said it's now believed it can be human to human is because they knew it came from animals. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
They're like, well, it won't spread because it was just some stupid human eating something stupid. You know what I mean? It's something they should not have been eaten according to the Bible.
According to anything, nature.
Yeah. So I think that is probably my update on, I think I might have...
we can go to the band.video.
The Communist Party authorities in Beijing are moving to quarantine essentially the entire province of Hubei after the deadly coronavirus that has swept across the globe over the past week originated in Wuhan. But before the barricades went up, the New York Times apparently managed to sneak a few photographs in Wuhan. The result, one of the best photographic records to appear in the Western press. A series of photos taken in Wuhan and elsewhere around China illustrate the Communist Party's heavy-handed effort to suppress the spread of the virus, even as global health experts warn that the horse is already out of the barn. Photos show victims being transported between hospitals by healthcare workers wearing full body protection. I don't know. Yep, you guys can see them behind me. I'm going to kind of go through these a little bit. Chinese authorities have come down hard on the virus Though some claim that efforts like public spraying won't do much. I mean, they've literally been spraying by hand. They've been spraying by airplane. On the streets and in the supermarket, people in Wuhan won't go anywhere without face masks. Everybody has a face mask on. Police surround the entrance to a public. You ever notice that the Chinese and Asian people are so readily to wear a face mask, but like you don't see people in the U.S. wearing face masks? It's just a thing, just a thought. Rail travel. You can probably turn off. Rail travel has been temporarily suspended as part of the effort to contain the virus. You even have the police here.
This is a huge deal
with masks on.
Theirs are dark though. It makes them more official.
Yeah, on a train from Shanghai to Wuhan carries precious few passengers brave enough to make the journey there. With the New Year holiday approaching, the train is usually packed this time of year.
Oh my gosh.
Only a couple people on
400 million people normally travel for this holiday.
Across China, the sight of officials carrying infrared thermometers, they're just like, they're doing people's foreheads.
And it's not enough, though, to say whether they have the virus or not. I mean, that's just silly.
Yeah, okay. Okay, here's the next one. We get to that. Snakes, bats, badgers, rats. Scientists suspect new coronavirus originating animals. The total number of confirmed coronavirus cases are at 800 now. They speculated that it passed to humans via snakes, badgers, bats, or rats. Some preliminary research has been picked up by Western press, including CNN, claims the virus may have been passed to humans by snakes, with the Chinese krat and the Chinese cobra being the primary suspects.
But it's not like they're biting people and giving them the virus. They're eating them.
The many-banded krat, also known as the Taiwanese krat and the Chinese krat, is a highly venomous species that dwells across central and southern China and across Southeast Asia more broadly.
And they eat them.
It's also apparently among the species of snakes that sometimes are consumed by humans. Moreover, scientists have now studied the genetic code of the virus using samples gleaned from patients. Using microscopes and photographs, they determined that the pathogen responsible for this pandemic has been confirmed to be in the same family of viruses as caused SARS and the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome MERS.
Where does it all always come from?
Coronavirus family. The viruses in this family have killed hundreds of people across Asia in the last 17 years, though it hasn't yet ruled on whether the virus is a global pandemic. The WHO has an official name for the new coronavirus. It's the 2019 nCoV. Most of those viruses have been traced back to animals in a process known as zoonotic transmission. This happens when viruses undergo a series of mutations while inside the animal host, allowing them to infect humans and then travel from person to person.
Unreal.
The zoonotic viruses, like AIDS, are relatively difficult to transmit. Others, like the coronavirus, are known for spreading easily through the air. Though airborne transmission of the 2019 coronavirus has yet to be confirmed, we know it's happening.
No, it is happening. That's why they're literally spraying and disinfectants in the air.
And that's why healthcare workers are coming down with it. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Snakes aren't the only suspects. A team of scientists who recently published a paper in the China Science Bulletin's hypothesized that the virus may have been transmitted to humans via bats. After this revelation, the Daily Star, British tabloid, claimed that the unknown link between bats and humans was this bat soup, and then that's why I showed you guys the girl trying the bat here.
She can't. No, put it down, girl. Put it down. Do not do that.
It's also possible that the virus may have originated in the bats before being transferred to snakes and then onto humans. A reading of the protein codes favored by the new coronavirus found that it was similar to viruses found in birds, snakes, marmots, hedgehogs, mantis, bats, and humans. Snakes often hunt for bats in the wild, and it's possible that a snake sold in the local seafood market in Wuhan had acquired the virus from its prey before passing it on to a
that's
human.
Possible, but we do know that they eat bats as well. Yeah. So why do you need to go from the snake, from the bat to the snake to the human?
Regardless of where it came from, it's clear that
the Chinese people are eating things they ought not be eating.
They're moving. Like Michelle just showed you this. They're going to be
unreal.
And the craziness of this happening right before a bunch of people are getting ready to travel around the world and travel around the country. Mm-hmm. This is not like a conspiracy theory. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I look to see who did what, when, where, why, and how. Sometimes things are an accident. Sometimes things are stupidity. And sometimes when it comes to conspiracy theories, somebody did it on purpose.
Or sometimes it's the wrath of God.
Or somebody did it on purpose now. Okay, now we can go to Jonesy.
Okay, so on the Periscope chat, somebody says, no, it's not enough. They should ban flying until this is over because someone could be infected, but no signs yet. Refocus Zone says, Americans can't get over their make-believe shame factor attached to wearing flu masks. So naive. Well said there. That's kind of true. All right, let's see what Alex has to say. Now, the reason why we're playing this video is the theory is that because the antivirus has already been patented, then that's a little suspect. Okay.
Yeah, somebody gonna make some money.
Follow
the money.
Follow the money.
Follow the money.
They've been working on trying to create a vaccine for this, and so they've patented over the years different mutations of the virus. And so I just find it very, very interesting that magically there's a vaccine for this now, and well, there you go, for this coronavirus. Folks could not believe how deadly it was.
I hope the U.S.-China trade deal involves China getting its act together, and Donna's like, can't they grow some vegetables? They have to resort to the dog meat industry to feed people. Rather ironic that bats are in ancient Chinese medicine as a cure for illness. Thank you, Britt. I meant to tell you that some of these things, the reason they eat them is because there's an ancient
cure for something.
It's supposed to be medicinal, like, and it's wrong, but it helps to understand why.
And I talked to doctors and nurses, and they said, well, we're not creating a panic, but yeah, there's a cover-up on just how deadly this is and how high the mortality rate is and how infectious it is.
China at the United Nations saying
these coronaviruses, or what they used to call bird flu, are really dangerous, obviously, because there's a lot of mutations of them. And they keep coming out of Asia, where pigs and ducks and chickens are kept in close proximity. And so you get the different sewage running together into these slurry ponds. And that's where they believe, they hypothesize, and now they've proven that a lot of these mutations happen because pigs are closer to humans, and that somehow then there's a transmutation and it's able to cross over into a virus that humans can get. And when you get a new zoological virus, a lot of times it tends to be extremely deadly. So they've been working on a bunch of vaccines for these. And there is a Brighteon Institute, if I'm pronouncing that right, that's a shadowy, secretive group, like a lot of these big foundations, where they get their money. I would guess a lot of it's probably Bill and Melinda Gates. But they've been working on trying to create a vaccine for this, and so they've patented over the years different mutations of the virus. And so I just find it very, very interesting that magically there's a vaccine for this now, and well, there you go, for this coronavirus. And here are some of the reports coming out. Coronavirus death toll doubles to 17 as more than 470 cases.
More than that now.
It's double.
Of mutating bug confirmed. That's the Sun. The state of panic hits the globe as cases of China's new mystery virus rise exponentially. First U.S. case of Wuhan coronavirus confirmed by the Center for Disease Control in Washington State. Experts estimate at least 4,000 people infected with coronavirus, and cases could reach the UK. At least 500 ill. It's probably a lot more than that. I know there was a virus similar to this that killed my uncle and a bunch of other people in East Texas. This was 6 years ago. And folks could not believe how deadly it was. And I talked to doctors and nurses, and they said, well, we're not creating a panic, but yeah, there's a cover-up on just how deadly this is and how high the mortality rate is and how infectious it is. Killer coronavirus attacks the body with pneumonia symptoms to look out for. And now, of course, they've got heat scanners at the airport seeing you've got a fever and they're supposedly checking you for it. You know what's wrong with this whole picture? They're telling us on the menu at China's virus market, Yahoo News, French news agency, rats and live wolf pups. Now, that's the type of stuff they eat there, imported from around the world. And yes, you can get diseases from eating weird foods like that, but it's the genetic engineering, it's the vaccines mixing. How many times have vaccines caused pandemics and they've admitted it? In the old days, they just admitted it, but now they just cover it up.
Right.
So pointing at that market is a big distraction. Pandemic fears grow as China virus toll rises. But what's really going on here? Well, tens of thousands have now died from Ebola in the last few rounds, the biggest outbreaks ever in the Congo. And then there's a program with George Soros and the UN publicly flying them out of the Congo into Mexico, and then Mexico lets them come through, and then there's groups picking them up, loading them on vans in Austin, San Antonio, and other areas, and taking them all over the United States. When the Ebola is much more deadly than this. And we know there's been cases in the U.S. that have been covered up, and cases in the Caribbean. That's been confirmed.
Refugees supposedly fleeing the Ebola virus, going in to South America, going all the way to our border, coming into the United States, and then they make it over the border. This is legit. It's a thing. And then they're just busting them all over the place and starting. Alex Jones said they did a lot in Austin. Like, that is legit. Like,
it's scary.
And then, like, I remember Tim Pool did a whole video, like, they have money to come over here on airplane tickets, and then you're telling me that they're fleeing, they're refugees, they're unsafe in their own country. Then why aren't they stopping in a South American country? They're trying to make it to the United States, and they're fleeing Ebola. Like, no, you don't get to come into my country if you're fleeing from Ebola.
So why in the hell would the deep state want thousands of Congolese coming in across the border as a citizen? You get in trouble, and you should, because to try to admissions by their top scientists that we've been covering happened last December.
Anything. I don't know if you want to finish
it says
the
Periscope
whole thing.
Live, but the other thing...
No, it said that they're all 3 live.
Lost connection.
Right here.
Okay.
They're all live.
It says we're live.
That's so weird, because
that
means that...
frozen? No.
No.
Are you back? Are they back?
Video output is still low. It's buffering. Sorry, guys, I didn't have the chat up, so I couldn't see. I was just watching Alex.
Nope, just internet issues.
It says
back.
You are
live. Yay. All right, guys, so we'll go ahead and stop Alex there. This is crazy, and I think I'm putting my money on conspiracy theory here. That
Mom says they don't want us to run Alex Jones.
I think that they do.
Oh no, that was Eric. You're right, Eric. They don't. Alex Jones voice recognition stream killer
sure
bot.
It does. Sure it does. Sure it does. I know Michelle's gonna have to go here in a second, so we're gonna maybe just sum up this. You have any thoughts on the craziness here?
Conspiracy theorists, right? I'm not going to jump to the God thing every single time. And so, yes, I think that there is something going on. At the same time, my takeaway from this is, honestly, and I hope you don't get upset at me for saying this, a lot of stuff's going on in China right now.
Yeah.
They are doing a lot of bad things. And historically, biblically speaking, when people do bad things, like really bad things,
the bad things happen.
Then bad things happen to them.
Yeah.
Now, whether you want to say that it's engineered and, you know, we're going oh my gosh, they're eating these bad things and this is happening. And Alex is like, oh, that's a distraction. You know what? They're eating bad things. Mm-hmm. That's number one. They are a godless nation. That's number two. They have slaves. They harvest organs. I mean, it's bad stuff going on over there. So if they start having viruses spread, to me, it's no wonder God doesn't let that kind of stuff pass.
Or not. I wouldn't even say like the wrath of God. I would say more like You don't have protection.
Exactly.
You just don't have godly protection.
Not that God says, oh, virus on you. Just more like God is just so gone that just bad things happen.
The devil has control.
Yeah.
And the devil wants to steal, kill, and destroy people's lives and hurt people.
Exactly.
Okay? So keep China in your prayers and keep your little prayer mask on.
Right.
That you want to save yourself from this.
So I am, when you want to sign off, you just go over here and you press the ending, right?
Right.
You wait till it's done and then the link disappears and then you
So
start
if I want
clicking all these
If I want to play a video.
Then you watch this. There's Alex. Oh,
and so
see? They are literally seeing this right now.
Okay.
Because I switched it over. I'm showing Leah how to do this. Now, if you want to go someplace else, you just type in YouTube. They're literally seeing me do this. They're watching us go to YouTube.
Okay. Well, what if I don't want them to watch where I'm going?
Well, then you go back to main.
Okay.
And then you do what you gotta do, and you get it where you want to go, and then you go back over here to where it's really simple. It literally says screen share.
I got it.
You don't want to screen share main. You want to screen share.
Love it. All right, guys. So it's me and you. Haha. Oh, but I need Michelle for this. Don't go. Don't go. Don't go. One more thing. This is our entertainment section.
No.
All right. So I'm not going to read the title.
No.
So I'm not going to read the title, but
I should have left 5 minutes ago.
Gwyneth Paltrow has got to be one of the sickest chicks.
About this?
I'm going to say it in this way, okay? This is a sick chick. So there was a women's march, and they're all wearing their little pee-pee hats, okay?
Yeah, that's a better way to say it. Thank you.
And Gwyneth Paltrow recently, she's got a website where they sell like candles for $500, like super expensive stuff, okay? She's like super chic.
Not the candles.
They sell candles for
but she made
$75
a candle.
And they nicknamed it "That Smells Like Her Pee-Pee," okay? Gwyneth Paltrow's. And literally that's what they called it. She's obsessed. Hollywood is so degenerate. So she supposedly is posing with a floral pee-pee at this Goop Netflix series events. Now, what I'm going to let you know real quick now.
No, you don't need to let them know that.
Is that is not what you think it is. You know why? Because that is just a rainbow of flowers. It's just flowers, okay? And these pee-pee hat wearing people walking around with little hot dogs on their heads. There's literally no way to draw or to make art out of the thing that they want to make art out of. Paul Joseph Watson shared a video of a bunch of feminists, one of them being one of the most famous Swedish politicians, singing around a circle of a woman laying in a library singing "My pee-pee, my pee-pee" over and over again. And I'm not going to play that for you, okay? Over and over again in what do you call it when you got a bunch of chorus people, harmony. These women have gone off the deep end. So much so that when I see that, nobody would say, oh, that's a pee-pee. No, they would say, oh, those are flowers in colors. It's a rainbow.
It actually looks more like a pee-pee to them because the coloring, let me see if I can make this dark enough so that they can see it. That's closer to what you can kind of see the flowers when I make the darkness there, but
it doesn't look. You can't do it.
You're
like
right.
Seriously, it's one of those things that you cannot make into art.
It is one of the parts of. Actually, I think that you have internal organs that you could make into art easier than you could do with what this is trying to portray.
So the thing of it is that the pure, all things are pure. When I look at that, I don't.
It just looks like an archway.
It's just an archway, and she's got Hollywood star and wellness entrepreneur Gwyneth Paltrow hosted her Goop company event in front of this blah 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 shaped flower, and she thinks that she's so funny. She thinks that she's hilarious. She thinks that she's like rocking it. She thinks that she's a rebellion.
No, people just think you're an idiot. Like they think you're psychotic.
Yeah. And why am I sharing this with you? I don't know. I don't know why. It
just goes to show the depravity, A, of Hollywood, and B, of the left. Of these LGBTQ people, the feminists. I mean, do you understand that feminism originally was to be treating women with respect? And it's gone so far where women, in order to be treated like men, or so they think, they have to disrespect themselves and their bodies.
It's like they've literally tried to up themselves. Redneck says Netflix sells the devil's agenda. They came out with like a gay Jesus and doing gay scenes with Jesus, and they're the ones that have some sort of like, they have like child porn on there. Like the devil's mask is off, and so the whole world steps back, and she's smiling, and 99% of the world says, "Ooh, girl,
ooh, girl,
ooh."
Ew.
When the people, even the leftists, look at the women trying to put hot dog hats on their head, calling them, pee-pee hats. And the 99% of all sane people say, ooh, girl, you went too far. And they're over here in their Women's March, and they're literally insane. And it's wonderful. Because you can just brush them all off as insane. Like, you can literally just say, you're insane. And it's helpful. Mm-hmm. It's helpful to, like, because you can't have a conversation with insane people. You don't take what they have. You don't even bother with what they say.
You can't take them seriously with anything because of that.
No.
If they would literally put a replica of a woman's pee-pee on their head.
Or an archway.
I don't want to call it what they call it. Like, I hate that word.
An archway.
Yeah.
Like, if you've done that, or you make a candle that smells like a pee-pee, like, you're like, you've literally, like, the whole world just is like, okay, enough internet, enough TV, and they're going to make people Amish. Because they're going to be like, no, the world has gone too far. Because I was telling this to Michelle, like, rock and roll, I understand people like Leonard Skinner and Alex and shit, and then sometimes there's a beat to it, and sometimes there's something about it, and then muscle cars, and then you want to drink and party, and all these different sinful things that most people
as much as we all know it's wrong, you can actually put yourself in their shoes and kind of go, I can see
how that would be fun for a time
for you,
right?
Yeah.
I can see, but this I can't. Like, nobody can. Like, it's like they're running around like, hey, we're going to sin, and we're going to just do this a little bit, and we're going to do this, and everybody's following us, and then suddenly, nobody's following them anymore. And they're like, where'd everybody go? And they're just like, no, you went on the cray-cray train. Like, that track ended. Like, we can see that this train that you're on, we're jumping ship, honey. That track, there's no more track. That's like Back to the Future Part 3. There's no track there.
Love that movie.
You went over there with your little pee-pee wall. Okay, and it's good for the rest of us to be like, it's fun. In the 80s and 90s, the left, they were funny, they were raunchy, and they pulled a lot of people their way. We're just being rebellious, and now they've gone so far that all the people that they've kind of pulled with them, they've got a couple that are sticking there, but the rest of the people are like, ooh, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm going to go to this fun, delicatessen buffet, and then all of a sudden they start serving eels and bats, and you're just like, I'm out. I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm done. I'm leaving, which is what you have to do.
On that's such a happy note. I wish I could stick for this one, though. This is a better one.
War hero urges AG Barr to dismiss charges against General Michael Flynn. Army Major General retired John K. Singlub, a decorated war hero, wrote to Attorney General Barr on Thursday asking him to dismiss charges against Lieutenant Michael Flynn, the president's former national security advisor. Singlab, chairman of America's Future Inc., and Ed Martin, president of the organization, wrote that what a federal prosecutor named Brandon Van Grack, in a severe miscarriage of justice, pressured Flynn to lie in a case related to a former business partner. They wrote, this kind of political conduct should not be leveled at an American hero like Lieutenant General Flynn, as a decorated military officer with a career spanning from World War II to the Reagan administration. And in light of my continued efforts to help our president and democracy, I know what courage looks like. I have fought Nazis and communists and other enemies of freedom. I have worked against enemy lines, and behind them I have seen the atrocity of war, and I have tasted victory. There may be few people today who have seen what I have seen, but courage doesn't just belong to my generation. Sorry, a little spit back there. Many brave men and women fight for freedom today. Lieutenant General Michael Flynn is one such courageous individual. He served our nation honorably for 33 years in the U.S. Army. During his time in Afghanistan, Iraq, he had an important role in developing counterterrorism strategy. As a founding member of the CIA, I can attest to the difficulty and importance of the work he did. He is clearly a patriot in every sense of the word. That's why I am so pleased to honor him as the inaugural recipient of an award bearing my name in 2018 and Major General John K. Singlab Award for Service to America. They said now Flynn is facing character assassination, financial ruin, and prison time because of a vendetta-driven narrative launched by Robert Mueller's phony investigation. They wrote to Barr, I call on you to show courage now by supporting Lieutenant General Flynn as an American hero that he is. Our men and women in uniform should be treated with fairness and respect. No one who has served America so faithfully should have the Department of Justice pressuring them to lie. Singlab and Martin employed Barr. You are a man who holds justice in a very high regard, Mr. Barr. Please see that Lieutenant Michael Flynn receives the justice he deserves. The underlying narrative of destroying our nation's core belief system and social justice with injustice is what these rogue men and women are instigating. We must not allow our way of life to be upended by those who want to rule by ruining the careers of those that stand up for righteousness. You can see that the rule of law means something, and that those that conspire to take down our leaders do not prevail. Rule in favor of the Honorable Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. Dismiss the charges and show the nation and our world our Department of Justice will not tolerate. William Barr is in charge now. He could drop these charges right now today. And so I too implore you, William Barr, in the name of Jesus, in the name of all things just, drop the charges. Drop the charges. Flynn last month withdrew his guilty plea after Flynn's defense attorney Sidney Powell alleged that Van Grack pressured Flynn to lie in a case against a former partner. When Flynn refused to do so, Van Grack reversed his obligations as part of the plea deal in the special counsel's inquiry into whether the Trump campaign colluded with Russia. And if you can see what they're doing to Trump and what they did to Trump, they did this to Flynn, they're doing this to Roger Stone. There's another letter written in favor of one of the prosecutors' witnesses against Roger Stone wrote a letter to the judge asking for no jail time for Roger Stone. It's a really weird letter, kind of, calling Roger Stone a bloviator and a kind of bad mouther, but he didn't do anything illegal. He didn't do anything wrong. I say, the Amish are cool, but they wouldn't let me have internet in the house, but I can have it in the barn. Gavin says, I watched the Schiff show earlier today. It was funny and annoying. We're going to go to that a little bit. RT News has said Tommy was in court while he was going to get his award for free speech. The Amish have the right idea. They don't push their views on anyone, and the left could learn a lot from them. Redneck, I agree with you. It seems the more time passes, the more degraded society gets. It's regression in morality, not progressive. But I'm going to tell you that I think I'm an Amish hybrid. Put away from thee the froward mouth, perverse lips far from thee. That's a good, very good scripture there. I hope the hiccups aren't really too much in... Remember the old pictures of women standing next to a stove holding a chocolate cake? Okay. All right, guys. So God is moving, and when you see the devil having a okay, I don't know. I'm not finishing all my thoughts, so maybe you can finish them for me. When the devil takes his mask off, good things are going to be happening. So that's what you see with the Democrats right now, and I get so excited when they act so stupid. Okay? Because, listen, under the Bush administration, it was all blase, yada, 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 and we had to get behind Bush because he was supposedly a Christian and blah, 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 and even he was killing a bunch of people all over the world, blah, 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 blah. But now, we really have bad guys. And we really have good guys. And we can choose what side to fight on. And side. It's the right side. It's so exciting. All right. Adam Schiff jokes that senators face prison if they disrupt impeachment trial. Not a joke. Let me see if this is the right one.
Take this opportunity to thank the senators for their...
Oh my gosh, he doesn't he look like a clown? Like, he so looks like a clown. I wish my mama were here to bring up my videos. What we have here is we have this little volumizer thing. You know what I'm gonna do, y'all? I'm just gonna play my TV real loud and hope you can hear me. Come on, whoop whoop. Let's try it.
Their long and considerable attention over the course of the last 2 days. I'm not sure the Chief Justice is fully aware of just how rare it is, how extraordinary it is for the House members to be able to command the attention of senators.
It's hard to look at him because he really does, with his red cheeks. He looks like he's a clown, and he's just kind of talks like this. And as Donald Trump says, pencil neck Schiff. I wish, seriously though, I wish I had his neck. I wish I had Schiff's neck, because the elongated giraffe neck on a female is quite attractive, don't you know? But that's why it doesn't look right on him. He's supposed to be a man, but he's not. He's a clown.
Sitting silently for hours, or even for minutes for that matter. Of course, it doesn't hurt that the morning starts out every day with a sergeant at arms warning you that if you don't, you will be imprisoned. It's our hope that when the trial concludes, and you've heard us and you've heard the President's counsel over a series of long days, that you don't choose imprisonment instead of anything further.
What is this? What is this? It's Joker. The clowns to the left be Jokers to the right. Oh my word. He literally just kicked off the third day of impeachment hearings on Thursday, trying to create a moment of levity by floating the possibility of lawmakers being put in prison. I also want to take again this opportunity to thank the senators for their long and considerable attention over the course of the last 2 days. But basically, if they didn't, they could be put in jail. Ha ha ha. Literally, Mark Meadows says, Adam Schiff starting off today with a joke about imprisoning senators came off like a joke written by Jerry Seinfeld, but delivered by George Costanza. Not sure what he's worse at, reading his audience or telling jokes. Either way, he is not helping his cause. No, he is not helping his cause. Lindsey Graham, you gotta admit, boy has gone on the offense. Okay, he's doing a good job. Sometimes I think he's a little bit cray-cray. Sometimes I think he's a, neocon. But, like, he keeps getting pulled back to support Trump. And I'm just like, okay, this is good. This is good. This is good. All right.
Come alive, sometimes effectively, sometimes a little over the top. But quite frankly, I thought they did a good job of taking bits and pieces of the evidence and creating a quilt out of it. So what I will tell my colleagues is the other side gets to talk and see if they can pull a thread here and pull a thread there and see if it holds up. But the thing that I wanted to talk to you about was the Biden connection. I don't know how many times it was said by the managers that the Biden conflict of interest allegations has been debunked and has been there's no scintilla of evidence in terms of conflicts of interest and potential wrongdoing.
No,
I know a lot about the...
He's just a crack addict making babies in whorehouses all over the country. And somehow the Ukraine says, well, that's such an intelligent person. We're going to spend $50,000 a month for his intellectual input into our electric company. Crack addict, whorehouse frequentor, making babies with prostitutes, taking him to court for child support. I hope they wring him dry.
Trump family and their dealings in Russia. I don't know anything about the Biden connection to the Ukraine, So when the managers tell me this has been looked at and debunked, by who? So that's becoming relevant because they talked about it almost 50 times that the president had no reason to believe that anything improper occurred in the Ukraine with the Bidens, and he was just out to create a political advantage. The question is, will that withstand scrutiny? The point of fact is that nobody, particularly in your business, has done much looking at what happened in the Ukraine with Hunter Biden. You're going to hear more about that, and I'll tell you more tomorrow. So I supported Mueller's ability to investigate the president's campaign and pretty much everything Trump, because I didn't know what they were up to and if they did have any connections with the Russians. 2 years later, I'm good to go. Somebody other than me looked at the Trump campaign. Nope.
The Biden tapestry needs some threads pulled. Thank you. I like that. It's kind of like a rerun, but with new rules and no one is upholding. Right. Still no new facts.
Has looked at what's happened in the Ukraine. So in 2014, Joe Biden's given the Ukraine portfolio by President Trump. It's a notoriously corrupt place.
You guys are great. Short as straw was pulled for Adam. Adam, ain't no way Nancy will be up there that long. She might get lonely and need her liquor bottle.
In a month of being given the Ukrainian portfolio, the vice president's son is hired by Burisma, one of the most corrupt companies in the Ukraine, at a fairly exorbitant salary. They also, Burisma, hires John Kerry's stepson, and on and on and on. The point is,
nobody talks about that John Kerry's stepson. Don't tell me it's not political. Come on, y'all.
That the prosecutor, who I think was corrupt, opened up a case in May of 2014 against Burisma, raided the president's home, Burisma's president's home, in February of 2016, and 7 weeks later, was fired. In 2015, the president of Burisma, Zolcheka, was named by our ambassador as somebody Ukrainian prosecutors should look at for corruption. The person who followed the fired prosecutor dropped the case against Burisma. I don't know. Doesn't pass the smell test to me.
It stinks to high
heaven,
and you can't get that smell away with Gwyneth Paltrow's candle. That was a good joke. I hope I can hear y'all laughing. All right. Let's see. We're moving on. I need a peanut gallery. Mama, you gotta hit the floor when you laugh at my jokes, because I need somebody to say, ha ha, that was funny. Ha ha, that was funny. All right. There am I. I'm going on. That was Lindsey Graham. Ha ha, she's laughing with me. Thank you, Madre. Okay. I got another video. I got another Schiff video. But I'm not sure where it's at. Adam Schiff said, I'm going to go to my Twitter here. He said that we can't trust elections. We can't trust the next election for our president. This one's great. I love this one. Somebody made a clown face. Can you see that? That's exactly. Oh my gosh, that's not even a joke. It's not even a joke. Where George Soros is all in. I like this one. Here we go.
I have said consistently, I'm not going to grant witness requests by the defense. They could have called all of these people if they'd wanted them in the House. They denied the president his day in court, and I'm not going to legitimize that. There are a bunch of people on my side. want to call Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. I want to end this thing sooner rather than later. I don't want to turn it into a circus. I think Schumer said yesterday, we're not willing to trade Joe Biden for anybody. I think I know why. I want the American people to pick the next president, not me. And so what I think is the best thing to happen is to have oversight of Ukrainian potential misconduct and move on to the election. I am not going to use my vote to extend the trial.
There we go. I'm going to get to this. I got one more. I got another little abuse of power here. It's pretty cool. Democrats warned the Babylon Bee, but this is actually for real. Democrats warned that American people may tamper with the next election. That was good. That was good. Gosh, where is it? I'm not sure where I've got it. I went too far. Adam Schiff. I want you guys to see him for yourself, saying that we can't allow elections. We can't allow elections to. Where is that? He literally says, Adam Schiff says, we can't allow elections to determine. So I guess I'm not going to find it. And that's okay. But that's what he said. He says we can't allow elections to determine the 2020. Adam Schiff. We'll see if we can get this from Google. I think I got something here. This is kind of what I wanted. For the sake of his own impeachment dreams, Representative Adam Schiff ought to shut up and stop saying the quiet part out loud. If not remedied by his conviction in the Senate and removal from office, President Trump's abuse of his office and obstruction of Congress will permanently alter the balance of power among the branches of government. The lead impeachment manager said, for precisely this reason, the president's misconduct cannot be decided at the ballot box, for we cannot be assured that the vote will be fairly won. That's insane. Like, seriously, you can't vote for Trump in 2020 because we can't be sure that if you voted for Trump, that Trump really won. I don't know if they've got a video of that, but I can't believe it. I want you should kind of need to hear it. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. Let's see.
The House did not take this extraordinary step lightly. As we will discuss, impeachment exists for cases in which the conduct of the president rises beyond mere policy disputes to be decided otherwise and without urgency at the ballot box. Instead, we are here today to consider a much more grave matter, and that is an attempt to use the powers of the presidency to cheat in an election. For precisely this reason, the president's misconduct cannot be decided at the ballot box, for we cannot be assured that the vote will be fairly won.
What? Remember when Hillary said that Trump wouldn't accept the results of an election? They're not accepting the results of the election. They've already decided not to accept the results of an election because they know Trump will win in 2020. No matter, they're really trying to rig it, guys. You know that they're going to bust as many people in as they can, and I just think I don't think they have it in them. I think that what Michelle was saying, I think she's going to say it tomorrow. It was amazing. We were taking a little dog walk, and she had this epiphany. And it was talking about the Virginia rally and why there wasn't anything crazy going on. Why was there no false flag? Why didn't Charlottesville happen? You guys, Charlottesville was a setup. Where do you get 200 guys in white t-shirts with 50 comb-overs with torches? You might have gotten 1 or 2 guys off of Reddit or the internet somewhere, some cray-crays, right? Just like the pee-pee hat wearing women. They're cray-cray. There's cray-cray over here on the right. You're cray-crays. Come on, you gotta admit it. There's cray-crays everywhere. Billions of people in the world. You're gonna have cray-crays on every political spectrum. However, those 200 guys, Robert Spencer, whoever that guy is, ex-Obama guy, organizing this thing, telling everybody to wear white t-shirts and comb over, like, that was all set up. So they had said, and Mom can put it in the chat, the name of the guy who worked with Hillary Clinton that's still alive. He's battling cancer. He's like, they're going to do all these false flags. And they did that in 2017. And they tried to do it in 2018. All the marches and everything. That was when, and here's Michelle's epiphany. She's going to reiterate it tomorrow night on our show, 6 o'clock. That was when the FBI was still run by the McCabe's, and, you know, Strzok was kind of still in there in the beginning, and Page was still in there, right? They were still, you still have Bruce Orr hasn't been fired yet. The people at the higher ups to do the cover-ups, to do the stand-downs, tell the police to stand down like they did in Charlottesville, they're not there anymore. And William Barr, when they put William Barr in is when they lost the ability to run the false flags. And now Brennan's not there and Clapper's not there. The CIA, the FBI, the DOJ, these people, the top guys. See, there are good guys in the FBI. And gals that just want to serve the country, want to make sure you're okay, they want to make sure I'm okay. But people get into the top and they run it because they want power. They're the same people who told MLK to go shoot himself, kill himself, suicided, right? The CIA, everybody. You watched our show with Barry Jones on how they took out, our own government took out JFK. But when those bad guys aren't in power, they can't run the false flags. And then, like, normal life happens. And that's so good. And we're so winning. And 2020 is going to see the year of unwinding, the stress coming down, peace in our country. And then we can start to begin to rebuild and regrow. Patriot Gallery has started our seeds. We have little tiny babies growing. And you look at these cities and you think to yourself, can they ever regreenify? Well, Google Detroit, Michigan, and you'll see a lot of these decrepit buildings. I want you guys to think, I want to give you a good image in your brain when it comes to like rebuilding, right? Can the earth heal itself? The earth is the most regenerative thing. Like, the earth regenerates and will regenerate. Life will find a way. Detroit, Michigan. We're going to call it, we're just going to say abandoned houses. And let's see if we can come up with some images where you see like life kind of taking over as the houses kind of deteriorate. Like, I know it looks bad and overgrown, but like actually that's not a bad thing. Like, life will find a way in these urban areas that have been totally and completely destroyed. Where you actually see, which is amazing here, this decrepit building is now being covered in green. It's like God. It's like it's sucking it's sucking the death out. Almost, you could say. Like, life will find a way. Green things grow up. It's actually a really good thing. So the Schiff show was insane. It's not gonna go anywhere. Ron Paul says, former United States House of Representatives member and presidential candidate Ron Paul is not too impressed with the ongoing impeachment trial of President Donald Trump of the United States Senate. The impeachment trial is pure politicking, declares Paul in his new interview at TRT World, focused in the impeachment trial. The do nothing but impeachment Democrats, and they don't have anything left. They're literally keep playing the same card over and over again. And they don't have anything, y'all. I know, you guys. Let's see. Give Adam some whiskey. Let him keep talking. Detroit hasn't been the same since the car industry went. Democrats are telling us to abort our babies. let hostile foreigners in, pay for their babies, and give up our guns. Somebody's tapping in our live stream from an outside force. I don't know. All I'm seeing is Democrats talk crud. When are the Republicans having their turn? It's going to be soon. Don't worry. The Democrats are trying to impeach the U.S. The conservative Christians who voted for Trump, they hate us. Get rid of Trump to silence us, but they're not going to do it, guys. They inherently self-destruct. He still tried using MSM tabloid and forgot the rules. I think Obama was reelected due to election fraud, and that's how Hillary. Are you going to break the glass ceiling? Okay. All right. Ron Paul says, further comments in the interview. It's always been said that impeachment is a political process. Well, that's an understatement when you look at what's going on now. With the wrongdoing being pursued by politicians with both Republicans and the Democrats in D.C., Paul assesses in the interview that the real battle taking place is over who's going to be boss of this and who's going to control the largesses. Let's see what Ron Paul has to say.
Congressman for the Republican Party, Ron Paul, who joins us now from Clute in Texas. Ron, good to have you with us. We heard Adam Schiff there talking about the importance of calling witnesses. He says the integrity of a trial depends on the witnesses.
And remember, these are the same witnesses that they did not call forth in the House, and so now they want them in the Senate to just keep it going round and round.
What do you think about this issue of whether witnesses should be called or not during Trump's impeachment trial?
Well, it's very confusing if people take it seriously that this is a real trial, that it means something, but it's pure politicking. It's always been said that impeachment is a political process. Well, that's an understatement when you look at what's going on now. It's pure politicking. It's gotcha type politics. One thing it reminds me of is in the old days, if somebody came to the king with bad news, they could kill the messenger because he didn't want to hear the bad news. In this case, I think what's happening now is the messenger is trying to be killed in the sense of impeached and thrown out, and that's Trump. Well, he's not bringing bad news. He's bringing fantastic news. It just drives the Democrats up the wall because he's able to paint a picture of prosperity and all these things going on. So they have to kill the messenger. So that's what they've been doing, and they've been trying to do that even before he became president. So it's all politicking, and if there is a contest, it's political power. It has nothing to do with real issues. They don't really talk about spending when they need to. They pause in the middle of a trial and they go and spend the money and invade another country and send off bombs.
As a former congressman, though, wouldn't you want to hear from witnesses like John Bolton, like Mick Mulvaney, about whether Trump tried to block military aid to Ukraine for his own political gain? Isn't that necessary to ensure that it's a fair trial?
Yeah, in theory that's good, and I think we should have. But what my point is it's all grandstanding. They're looking for, I got you, but it's not serious. But no, I think there should be witnesses, and it has to be dealt with by the rules. And if you compare the rules in the House and say, well, the Republicans in the Senate can vary the rules just as much as the Democrats did in the House, and then you have political chaos because everybody knows the outcome. And so that even makes it stranger. So the fights have to be these technical fights and not on the real issues. And the goal is to destroy Trump, of course.
And on that issue,
and this astounding thing.
As you rightly pointed out, the outcome is probably a foregone conclusion. He's almost certainly going to stay in power. But hasn't this whole thing then, isn't the upshot that this has damaged the office of the presidency and the integrity of America?
Well, I don't know, but I think we deserve rightful criticism. I don't like a imperial president. As a libertarian, I don't want all this authority to fight wars and put on sanctions and fight with people, because both parties do it. you know, if you want to find charges of real infractions and shortcomings, it's bipartisan. They're just looking for a boss. Who's going to be the boss of this? Who's going to control the largesse? But I think it's a pretense, and I have no objection to going through the pretense of having witnesses. I think, matter of fact, I think if Trump got involved, it would really be entertaining. And he's an entertainer, basically, but it should be serious. And I think that's your point. Doesn't this make America look bad? Well, I worry about our image too, but in a different sense, not because of what's going on. This is just an aside effect. I don't like what we do around the world. I don't like our military operations and our influence around the world, and you know, our interventionism and all our throwing our weight around and putting on sanctions on people. I would like to get out of the Middle East. Seriously, Trump has said that, and he received some good applause for that, you know, as a candidate. But those are the real issues. So I think that is what is ultimately going to destroy the image of America, because I don't think we're going to be kingpins, you know, forever. The dollar is vulnerable. Our foreign policy is vulnerable. We were outfoxed in Syria, and all we can do is say, well, we're going to put on sanctions. Just remember, we have a lot of cruise missiles, so you better behave yourself. That's what I want people to be concentrating on, not this superficial fluff, the political stuff that they're talking about now.
Ron, great to get your thoughts.
Don't you just love Ron Paul? Doesn't he remind you of Mom? He does. It's like, that's what my mom always would do. We go in and talk about something, and we focus on something. She's like, well, let's talk about what's really happening here. Bring it back to gold and silver. That's exactly what Ron Paul does. Get us out of the Middle East. That's what he is a straightforward guy, and you got to respect him, because he doesn't get taken away on every wind of this and wind of that. I love this guy. I really do. As it really comes down to, hey, we got to get out of the Middle East. We got to, you know, and it's just fantastic. I just love when he does that. All right. So I'm going to end, I think, on this story here. I'm going to get to some, Hunter is living in $1 million house and being sued by a woman for child support. He met her in a strip club where he smoked crack and got arrested. Great guy there. Pretty much. He's a granddad, and I like him. Rome says, I took on an abandoned house in Norwalk, Connecticut. Pictures of rented rooms. I sold it and I bought my farm. Yay. We got some stuff coming on Saturday. Like Mom was telling you, so check back on Saturday, guys. Some will be live. Some will be taped to be put out later. All right. You guys are going to like this one. You guys... Nobody really knows who Carter Page is, but Carter Page is the reason for the whole Mueller investigation, okay? Supposedly Carter Page was dealing with the Russians, and that was their end to get into the Trump campaign, right? Carter Page could probably sue the FBI for millions because of this. Surveillance of Carter Page based on insufficient evidence, no probable cause. The Department of Justice has concluded that the Obama-era FBI should have discontinued its surveillance of Trump campaign advisor Carter Page far earlier than they did, and that the FISA court was shown insufficient evidence to show that Page was a foreign spy, according to the Wall Street Journal. The DOJ delivered its conclusion to the FISA court in December, filing unsealed on Thursday. The Department of Justice now appears to have concluded that there was insufficient predication to establish probable cause in the last two renewals in 2017. Probable cause is the legal standard to obtain a secret warrant against suspected agents of a foreign power. The letter is classified, but is referenced in a new order declassified by a judge on Thursday. The Justice Department said it would sequester all the material it collected against Mr. Page pending further internal review on the matter. The court understands the government to have concluded, in the view of the material misstatements and omissions, that the court's authorizations in two applications were not valid, wrote Judge James Emanuel Boasberg, the federal district judge in Washington, who also sits on the FISA court. As the Federalist notes, this could have far-reaching consequences for special counsel Robert Mueller's findings. The final warrant against Page overlapped with former special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation of Russia interference in the 2016 election. The final 3-month authorization to spy on Page was signed nearly 6 weeks after Mueller was appointed, meaning that Mueller may have had real-time access to and utilized nearly 5 months' worth of surveillance of Page during the course of Mueller's investigation. If his office used any of the information in subsequent cases, the declaration that the final 2 spy warrants against Page were invalid could potentially nullify previous or future convictions sought by Mueller's office. This is a blockbuster ruling. The FISA court declared that at least 2 of 4 of Carter Page spy warrants were illegal, meaning any evidence collected from that surveillance is now invalid. Judge Boasberg set a January 28th deadline for the government to show the court what steps it is taking to avoid similar abuses in the future. You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Like eating bats. Let's see. I think that... There we go. Spy court admits FISA warrants against Carter Page were not valid. Authority granted to the federal government to secretly wiretap and spy on former Trump affiliate Carter Page was not valid, the nation's top spy court noted in secret ruling penned earlier this month. The order from the FISA court, which was created and authorized by the FISA Act, was initially signed and issued on January 7, 2020, but was not declassified and released until Thursday. This is huge. This is absolutely huge. Boasberg's ruling noted that the DOJ had not yet taken a position on the lawfulness of the first 2 applications against Page, but was currently collecting information to assess whether those 2 spy applications were also invalid. The invalid applications specified by Boasberg were dated April 7th and June 29th of 2017. The false and invalid April 7th application was personally signed by James Comey. James stinking Comey. Before he was fired by Donald Trump. While the false and invalid June 29th application was signed by Andrew McCabe. And everybody's like, you can't fire McCabe, you can't fire McCabe. Well, look what he did. Both men were referred for criminal prosecution by the Inspector General. Former Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, who is alleged to have offered to wear a wire against President Donald Trump, also signed off on the false June 29th FISA warrant against Page. The FISA court order also noted that it is a federal crime for any federal official to intentionally disclose or use information obtained under color of law by electronic surveillance, knowing or having any reason to know that the information was obtained through electronic surveillance not authorized by law. The following sentence of Boasberg's ruling is redacted, raising questions about whether the government used any information obtained pursuant to the now invalid Page surveillance warrants in any other cases. The final warrant against Page overlapped with former special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. We talked about this. Surveillance under FISA is not limited to the individual targeted, as the government also surveils individuals with whom the target communicates and individuals with whom the individuals communicate. That process is called the 2-hop rule and allows the government to spy on and collect information, which is exactly what they were trying to do with spy on Trump. Information and communications from individuals who are 2 degrees separated from the actual surveillance target. Therefore, if Page never personally spoke to Trump on the phone, the government could still eavesdrop on Trump's conversations if Page spoke to someone who had spoken to or electronically communicated with the president. Bad people. It is not known whether the government used the 2-hop process on Page to sweep up information from former Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort, former White House National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, or even the president himself. In his January 7th order, Boasberg directed DOJ to retain and sequester all this information. So, there's a comeuppance happening here, and we will see justice. We are going to see justice. There's too many woken people, and I mean awoke in a righteous sense. I mean awoke as in the Kanye West. You're either awake or you're asleep. I'm awake. I'm awake to the gospel. I'm awake to the glorious power of Jesus Christ moving inside of me, moving inside of you, moving across the land, moving across China getting people saved, moving across places all over Europe, Poland, Spain. I'm still praying for you in the UK. Y'all need a George Whitefield and a John Wesley type moment. Lord, have mercy on the UK. Give them some, every time I'm praying for y'all to get some evangelists, I just think to myself, they're all going to jail like they always have been. John Bunyan, I got a book here. I was going to pick up the life of John Bunyan. John Bunyan wrote Pilgrim's Progress, but good old England put him in jail for being a Christian, for loving Jesus, for spreading the gospel. The Pilgrims put in jail for loving Jesus in England. Y'all would think that, considering your history in England there, before it was Great Britain, considering your history of jailing people for thought, that you wouldn't do it, but they're really doing it right now a lot. Like you talk about Muslims or Islam in any sort of way, homosexuality. Oh, but I got good news for y'all. I should save this for Sunday, but I ain't going to do it. I'm going to bring it on Sunday. I was so surprised. Surprise. This was trending like right when we went live. You can go back and see it. Watch this. I am so surprised. The Church of England has publicly reaffirmed that marriage is between a man and a woman, and that sex belongs only within heterosexual marriage. Franklin Graham says, I appreciate the church taking this strong stand with the word of God, which is the truth. Hallelujah. Glory to God. I cannot believe it, but we see some revival in the UK? The Church of England? I come the Pillsbury Doughboy here on traditional marriage. What do we call it? We call it traditional marriage versus the non-traditional marriages. Franklin Graham says, I'm going to the UK in late May to hold evangelistic. You think I could say that? Because I graduated with a degree in evangelism. That's what my little college Bible degree says, evangelist. Are y'all coming to know Jesus? Because I got a degree in it. I'm making myself laugh. I don't even know if anybody else is laughing at me. This is the problem with the live feed, and I got my sidekick. Oh, Lone Ranger and Tonto, Laurel and Hardy, Batman and Robin, it was Snoopy and Charlie. Friends through thick and thin, friends to the very end. I think you would agree. That's how it is for you and me. That's a Christian song we used to sing. And we used to do like this. I want you to know I need you. I want you to know. I don't know how many times you spin. It's true. There's no way I'd make it without you. My invisible sister who's not here to say, Leah, stop. She ain't here. I just got to keep going. Franklin Graham is going to the UK in May to hold evangelistic outreaches and share that Jesus Christ didn't come into the world to condemn it, but to save it. Hallelujah. I don't want to condemn you of your sins. I just want you to make you feel really bad. Put your head in the hole. Kidding. I want you to know Jesus is here to save you. This is my joke for the day. Ba-boom ching. I need a laugh track. Ha ha ha. My father, Billy Graham, had many wonderful evangelistic campaigns in the UK, and we're excited to return for the Graham Tour in 2020. Here comes Patriot Gal. She's here to laugh in person. No, it's Michelle. Michelle's back! Woo! Michelle, I got good news. I'm getting ready. I'm telling everybody. I just sang a song for her and she showed up, huh? Isn't that so nice? All right. See, then you got sick people here. So I'm getting ready to sign off, but I wanted to give them some good news.
Good news.
Yeah, and of course you're gonna have like the guy who invented the Church of England married 6 wives, divorced 2, and beheaded 2. So I get it that it's not exactly. I don't really want to read the Guardian one, but on Sunday we're going to talk about this. I was talking about revival spreading all over the world and how I pray for my friends in the UK because they need another George Whitefield. They need a John Wesley because when I think about them,
or Leah Svensson.
But see, if they start preaching the gospel, then they go to jail, right?
Or not go to jail.
All right. But this is, I can't believe the Church of England came out and said this, but I'm actually pretty excited. I think it's because of the whole change. Boris Johnson's in power. Conservatives are in power. It's okay to do this now. I don't know how they can do this. I honestly don't know how to. Sex is for straight married couples only, says the Church of England, as it calls on gay or straight civil partnerships to be abstinent.
Nice.
Very crazy there. Could you just, the ads on the Daily Mail are just so annoying. Thank you. A statement issued by the House of Bishops gave response on civil partnerships. We played a video of a pastor, I don't know what you call him there, over there, vicars in England, who was gay, homosexual. And he said, but I read the Bible.
That's been a while.
Yeah, and I read the Bible and I say, I know that it's wrong for me to have sexual relations outside of marriage. And I know it's wrong for me to have sexual relations with men.
Yeah.
And so I'm an abstinent person who is attracted to my same gender.
Right.
And sometimes, honestly, guys, I believe the God can set you free, but at the same time, I have such a huge respect for somebody who says, I can't help it.
Right.
Like, I'm physically attracted to men, but I love Jesus and I love God and I love his people and I'm reading the Bible and I know what the Bible says and I know that God has a good way. God has a good way for us to live. And this is, the Bible clearly says, I've created, why did I put two together? Why did I make two one?
To bring about a godly seed.
So the Church of England has today declared, and watching some of the question time people get ridiculed. I've seen some women, this one woman who was like, I believe marriage is between a man and a woman. And like the whole audience and everybody was like literally going to eat her alive. Right? But to see the Church of England come out and say this, and they're going to be eaten alive, but they're just like, whatever, dude, we put people, we burn people at the stake, so we're good. Declared civil partnerships between men and women are not as good as marriage. A statement issued by the House of Bishops today, led by the Archbishop of Canterbury and the Most Reverend Justin Welby, addressed the changes in marriage law for the first time. The pastoral statement added that marriage continues to provide the best context for raising children. It does not look like a really good present, but whatever. Just kind of freaky. That's just whatever. This is two people, the first same-sex couples to register for a civil partnership. What's the difference between civil partnership and marriage? A heterosexual couple won the right to have a civil partnership. A civil partnership involves one part of the couple signing the relevant document to make their union official in the eyes of the law. A marriage is formed when a couple exchange spoken words or vows to one another.
Okay, but so that's like getting married before the justice of the peace or something. Like,
a civil partnership does not require a ceremony. The union gives you the same pension rights as if you were married. If one person dies and the union dies, the other is entitled to some of their pension pot. You have to have been in the partnership for a year before you can become civil partners. Dissolving either partnership has to be done by a court. Procedure for dissolution of civil partnerships is two-stage. Instead of decree nisi and decree absolute as in divorce, there is first a conditional order and a final order. In a civil partnership, couples would be unable to rely on using adultery as a ground for their relationship being dissolved. So it's more just a partnership rather than a marriage.
Well, I think that it's almost like the rules for divorce are the only thing that's different. Because interestingly enough, here in the United States, I mean, you have to cite, you're supposed to have to cite, something significant. You used to almost have to cite that the other person had an adult.
Yeah, it used to be more difficult to get a divorce.
Now it's really
easy. Bishops define marriage as a faithful, committed, permanent, and legally sanctioned relationship between a man and a woman making a public commitment to each other, and central to the stability and the health of human society.
Now comes Patriot Gallery.
This particular couple who had managed, who campaigned for mixed sex civil partnerships, registered their more modern partnership.
What do you got, Mama?
I need Leah to rescue me. I can't remember the lady's name who got to jail because she, and Trump tweeted her out. She was in UK and she's Christian and she confronted all those Muslims.
Yeah. Jada.
Okay, because you said some, UK needed evangelists. I mean, she went to jail.
Jada Franson.
Jada went to jail. Exactly.
And not only has she gone to jail, but she's been censored now. You can find her videos out there. I don't know the latest update on her. Maybe Barry does.
I think personally that Jada got so caught up in what she was doing, and she began to read all the negative parts of the Quran, that she went so far as to say the Quran itself should be banned. And that is too far, because if you don't know what's in it, like you shouldn't ban words or thoughts, because like banning the Communist Manifesto, our founding fathers kept copies of the Quran to know what was in it.
Right.
Okay.
The issue isn't the Quran. The issue is twofold in the UK. It's the flood of migrants, but it's also the bending over backwards to cater, protect, and not punish those who are practicing the extreme forms of Islam.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the issue. If they actually got punished for what they were doing,
sure,
it would curb drastically.
There's a lot of
what's
books.
happening.
I mean, you read a lot of ancient books. They're like, are you going to ban like ancient Egypt works or Babylonian works that called for mutilating people, or Aztec? You can't ban Aztec artwork or written words or anything, or even the study of the culture, even though
we don't even ban like the eugenics works of
you got to know what they're saying, but what you ban is the practice of it that's wrong. And what the UK does is they don't ban the abuse. They don't enforce it. But this is good news. The statement by the House of Bishops was included all 42 of the most senior diocesan bishops added it would not be right to produce an authorized public liturgy in connection with the registering of civil partnerships, with opposite-sex civil partnerships, and with those for same-sex couples. The Church's teaching on sexual ethics remains unchanged. For Christians, marriage, that is, the lifelong union between a man and a woman contracted with the making of vows, remains the proper context for
so this is the official stance
activity
of the Church of England.
Yeah. They added, because of the
now you got me. Ambiguity.
Thank you. About the place of sexual activity within civil partnerships of both sorts, and the Church's teaching that marriage between a man and a woman is the proper context for sexual intercourse, we do not believe that it is possible for the Church unconditionally to accept civil partnerships as unequivocally reflecting the teaching of the Church.
Exactly.
But the leaders of the Church said churchgoers with civil partnerships should be treated sensitively and pastorally. And I think that is really the key there, that the left really doesn't allow for you to say, this is the teaching of the Bible, and you don't have to believe in it.
Right.
Like, you don't have to be a Christian. You can. That doesn't have to. You can just. You don't have to.
They're kind of like happy-looking people, though. I mean,
those are the civil partnerships.
I know. I'm just saying.
But you don't have to believe in it, and you don't have to be married according to the Church. Okay, but we're allowed to say that biblical marriage, which is, we believe, the highest form of marriage, is between a man and a woman.
Right.
And that is not a bigoted thing to say. But you can also say, I love people who are homosexual. I can care about them. I can be friends with them. And they can be in committed relationships that can be... That can be, and I don't even mind with the whole civil partnership thing. You want to leave your stuff to a certain person. You want to go down that path. There's always been homosexuals. There's always been people who get drunk. There's always been people who sleep outside of marriage. I'm not here to police your morals, but I'm here to preach better morals.
And you can't be censored for preaching the Bible.
To say that...
To say, you know what? I love you as a person. What you're doing is wrong.
Exactly.
I will say that to anybody. You could be watching our show. You may be sleeping outside of marriage. It's wrong. I'll tell you that's wrong. I'll tell you God says that's wrong.
But I will say that God loves you, and you might have been abused as a child. You might not know it's wrong. You might know that you're hurting yourself, or you're hurting this other person. That God has a better way. Mm-hmm. You know, it's kind of like the difference. You know, I don't want to equate food to that, but like, hey, going to the fast food restaurant versus eating homegrown food. One is really, really healthy for you, and one's not so good for you. Okay? And so anyways, this was just some good news. And God, that is just, man, when somebody comes out in favor of something like that, in England, in the UK, that I would not have expected that in a million years. I would have thought that they would have been not able to do that. Like the woke McWokis, the Wiki-Walkies. Well, that guy,
You're making up words now.
No.
The woke McWokis, the Wiki-Walkies?
Lawrence Fox is calling himself woke McWokefin. Woke McWoke something. He's like, just call me woke McWoke. Woke,
okay.
Woke Wiki-Walkie.
But you can't make up words after that. The Wiki-Walkie, Wiki-Walkie.
I want you to know I need you. I want you to know it's true. There's no way I'd make it without you. It's so good to know I got a friend like you. I sang that without you because you weren't here, because like I was making jokes. I didn't know if anybody was laughing. I asked Mom to bang on the floor if I said something funny, and she found funny. She only banged one time. I thought I was funny more than that. But I can't hear. I need a laugh track, is what I was saying.
3 times on
No, stop. No.
I'm funny.
Michelle.
Twice on the pipe.
All right.
The answer is no. See?
All right, we're gonna.
She just banged on
Thanks,
the thing.
Mom. Even Megan had to change faith, but it wasn't fully known. We might talk about that. I am all up in that gossip with the woke.
She has been watching the Meghan Markle stuff.
It just makes me.
It's the best. Here's the thing. Everything is so depressing. This makes us laugh. If it makes you laugh,
Meghan and Harry, it just does. And you know what it is? It's because they gambled that they could be like, you know, they wanted to be the Kardashians of the West, but they were getting their tips from Obama's, and they're like friends with. They have Obama on the call. Now, here's the thing, though. Canadians don't want to pay for their security, and I'm hearing that so far they've been offered $1 million, like it'd be between like $1 and $12 million a year for security for them. And Canadians like, I don't want to spend that. And Justin Trudeau's like, oh, it's pennies in the bank, no big deal, we'll take care of it.
Justin Trudeau. Mm-hmm.
You know things are bad when you got to go to Canada.
Yeah, eh?
Canada,
eh? Like, how do you go from like American to British royalty to Canadian? What's with that? Like, why?
They're in this giant mansion
you
right
see
now.
It black, but I see.
All right, we're gonna hang up.
You say go left,
we'll see you tomorrow.
But I know it's right.
I want to sing tomorrow.
No matter where we go, be it through the highs and lows, I will be by your side. 'Cause you and I are friends for life. You started it. I just came here. I just got here. All right, we love you guys. God loves you. Remember, we will be back here tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, we kind of did our weekly roundup today so that we could focus a little bit more.
The March for Life.
The March for Life.
We're going to do the gun rally.
Uncle Trumpy.
And we're going to do the PP March and Uncle Trumpy at the March for Life. First president to be going to the March for Life. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord.
It'll be at noon tomorrow.
Glory
if you want to watch
the Lord
if you want to watch it live. I don't know what time he's supposed to speak, but I know that the rally, the march,
Jesus, lives are going to be
noon.
Life is.
What I'm not concerned about, but it's always worth, like, I'm hoping that Antifa didn't like save up their stuff for the march. They don't usually go to the March for Life. Like, you can't touch those people.
They ain't got nothing. Nobody wants to be around them Christians. It's just too, you know, the devil don't want to be around them. It's just too much. It's too much goodness. Those are like the icky, stickily sweet Christians.
I know.
All the happy ones.
Right.
You know, Jesus just loves you so much. Let me pinch your cheeks and pray for you. Do you need something? Can I get you some apple juice?
My favorite are how many signs and people that show up at the walk that have like a full-grown kid or somebody in their teens or 10 or 11 years old. Like, I was going to be aborted. I was supposed to be aborted. It's like, how do you protest that? You can't. You can't touch it. Oh, no, you should have died. You should have been killed. You know, your mom right there standing next to you would have been way better off if she had made that. You know, I mean, what? You can't touch it. Just can't touch it. So we love you guys. God loves you. Remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory if it's actually the truth. Please please comment what happens. And I'll notice this. I thank you that you watched.
I've seen comments that say, where are all the comments?
Okay. First of all, that just totally sounded like you said, I seen. Please clarify within that exactly. But your eyes. Just it was like,
what was that good video? Oh, the
don't do that, guys.
Video when we went and took our little tour. Watch that.
Watch it. And
I saw comments. This is so good. Where are all the comments?
What happens is, y'all people leave 1 million comments in the live chat.
So good.
And then an entire video will only get like 2 comments because you gave it all at the front. And I get that, and I appreciate it.
Here's the good news. We need to do a pin comment on our videos.
Please leave comments.
Well, either that or just click on the super chat as you're watching it. You can see the comments all over again.
Right. Yeah.
They're there. They're there.
All right, we don't have super
you
chat.
care.
We just have the live chat.
Well, on the chat, the live
chat. The super chat, you get donations and money and stuff.
We don't
do that because we don't want anybody to be able to try to buy us reading their comments. That's bad.
We talk too much. We're
bad.
super chatters.
We are. You know what Mom said to me the other night?
You talk too much.
Kind of, yeah. I don't remember how she worded it exactly, but she's like, like a lot of times Matt goes to say something and you just talked right over him. And I was like, it was Leah. It was Leah.
Because when Matt comes to talk, it's so amazing that I just listen. I'm just like,
I do the same thing. And I will sit there. I'll be like, Leah, I just said that to you the other day. We were at our friend's house, and I said, Leah, Matt was talking. So you did do it that time when I interrupted you to interrupt Matt.
Mom hasn't told me it to me.
When I told her it was you, she was like, it's both y'all. She may not have said that, but she thought it. What I'm just saying is, that's what it was. I was saying something about how I was, talking to Uncle Jack or something, and she's like, I don't know if you've noticed it lately. I thought she was just going to say you become like a chatterbox because I kind of have a little bit more than normal, but that's not where she was going with that. It was like a specific.
I'm just gonna let it sink in for you. I'm gonna say nothing more.
If you had been there, she would have said the same thing. Patriot Gallery, tell her, bang on the floor if you know it's right. 2 guilty parties here. At least I admit it.
I hear nothing.
Okay,
I hear nothing. I got a 30 second delay.
It's a 30-second delay. Here it comes. I got the bang. You knew.
Bang on the floor if you know it's Michelle Moore.
No, because she won't do that. She will not do that. You know why? Because our mom is Switzerland. She is literally. It's pretty rare that she'll take somebody's side. Oh! She banged! You are so not right. I just called you Switzerland. I do not believe this. Like, in the core of my being, like my salvation.
It was like a gamble, and I was like, let's see. And then I waited, and I got it.
No, she's probably banging to see if I just read her comments. It was Michelle at the friend's house. You know what? I'm eating all the chili tonight. I'm not leaving any for you.
You know what? No, I gotta tell you something, y'all. It comes back around. Because I learned this a long time ago. Because I'm the bigger sister. And I learned that if ever I tattletaled on Michelle or something, it would come back to bite me with something else.
It is going to come back.
So I learned that, like, don't do it because it'll just come back on something else. And it's just not a good thing. Mm-hmm. So now something's going to bite me in the butt. Like them snakes, and hopefully not that coronavirus.
Oh. Can you please not call it coronavirus?
Coronavirus. I don't want to say it like that.
The coronavirus.
Coronavirus sounds like the beer virus.
Well,
and I don't really want to call it that.
But I think your corona, that's not your eye, but your corona, corona is something.
Can I interrupt?
Hang on, but
Roger Rabbit Hole wants to know.
Corona, isn't that like
it's a beer.
something to do with? No. It has something to do with like light or something.
There's
a definition for the word corona that is not beer.
Okay, we're literally jibber jabbering, guys. We love you. We got a P.O. Box 107.
Send us your letters. We'll read them on air.
Milford,
we do have a mail call.
We have a 45150 45.
You got that.
1545.
All right, we're signing off. You're really tired now. We'll see you guys back here
tomorrow,
6 p.m. Eastern. No,
we're drunk like Nancy Pelosi, drunker than a skunk.
I'm here to tell you, and Leah doesn't want me to say this. It's more than likely going to be 6:30. We always aim for 6.
We aim for 6.
Try for 6.
But see, here's the thing. We have shown up and started at 6 and nobody was there. It's so funny.
Because they know that we're going to run late.
But you know what? Why don't you just like put us on at 6 o'clock and then like do like things like go to the bathroom, things like that, get some coffee, and then you're ready in case we're there on time. Because I know that if Michelle's like, well, let's just make it 6:30. I said, no, because then we won't be going until 7. I know myself. It is me. Sometimes I've been here. Sometimes. How 9 times out of 10, it's usually, but it has been me. I have been standing here and been like, what you been doing, Michelle? Mm-hmm. But not very often, and I admit it. I work on it. But I do more like outdoorsy stuff. I do stuff. I'm doing the visits. And you know what? Like, we're done here. We're jibber jabbering.
Okay, we're signing off.
Let's just go.
Okay, we're going.
Let's just go.
Okay. Oh, wait, Mom says read the comment. Wait, I closed out the chat. Where did it go? Lateness is Leah. Thank you,
I told you it would come around. Bit me in the butt. Right here, right here. Got me. This was like grab the bull by the horn. I told you. Now it's over. Now it's over. Now it's over. We're even.
Okay. Good night, guys. God bless.
I was cold.